Did you know that there are over 3,000 different two-card combinations in the tarot? Like, no joke. Now, unless you've got the mind of a computer, I doubt you're going to be able to memorize all of the 3,000 tarot card pairs. But fear not, my friend, because in this video, I'm going to unveil just 4 simple techniques that will allow you to interpret any tarot card combination quickly and effectively. So let's dive in. All right, now let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered why tarot card combinations are absolutely vital if you want to be a talented tarot reader? So here's the thing, when you start out reading the cards, my guess is that you're going to be reading each card one by one. So you go, oh, look, I just pulled the 4 of Cups. Fantastic. That means I'm considering the options, but I'm not quite ready to take action. Oh, and now I've pulled the 10 of Wands, and that means burden and responsibility, and away you go with your reading, right? But if you want to read the cards in a way that actually makes sense and really means something, you have to go beyond just single tarot card meanings. And you've got to start learning how to read and interpret tarot card combinations. So you've got to look out for those patterns within the cards, whether it's common symbols, numbers, elements, or themes. And you have to look at how the cards interact with each other and how they flow from one card to the next, just like the pages of a storybook. Because when you do this, the meanings of the cards will weave their way together in a really profoundly deep and unique message just for you. And it's kind of like doing a puzzle. You know, when you look at each puzzle piece on its own, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But then you put it all together and you finally get to see that big picture. So this, my friend, is really what makes the difference between a good reading and a great reading. So let's take a look at some of my favorite techniques for reading tarot card combinations. And of course, if you want even more ways to develop your skills, then make sure you check out the link below so that you can access my free ultimate guide to tarot card combinations. All right, so let's start with one of the easiest techniques, which is keywords and phrases. So every tarot card is associated with certain keywords and phrases. So you've got like the 8 of Wands, and that's about travel or movement. Or you've got the 6 of Cups, and that's about childhood friendships. So to create a tarot card combination with keywords and phrases, all you need to do is bring these keywords together. So 8 of Wands and 6 of Cups combined might mean, travel to see old childhood friends. So here's another example. Let's take High Priestess, which is about intuition, and the 8 of Pentacles, which is about skill building. And you have this combined meaning of developing your intuitive skills. It really is that simple. And it works like a muscle because the more that you do it, the better you get at it. So something really fun is split your deck in 2 and pull a card off the top of each pile. And then just come up with a keyword combination for the pair. And then pull the next 2 cards and do it again and again and again. And you'll find that over time, it really does get easier and easier. All right, so let's jump into the next technique, and that is numerology. So every card in the tarot deck has a number associated with it. So for our major arcana cards, they're numbered 0 to 21. And the minor arcana cards have the aces, which is a 1, all the way through to 10. And then you've also got the court cards, which can be considered as the numbers 11 through to 14. So each number actually has a meaning. So aces, or the 1s, is the start of something new. And then you go all the way to the 10s, and that represents the completion of a cycle. So when you're interpreting 2 cards, look at the numbers of those cards to discover the numerological significance of this combination. So here's how you do it. If both cards share the same number, then the significance of that number is enhanced. So let's say you had 2 of Cups and 2 of Wands, and that might reveal a focus on partnerships because that's really the 2s, right? So it might even be a couple, which is the 2 of Cups, planning a future together, which is the 2 of Wands, all based around their relationship together. Now, if both tarot cards are numbered within a close range of each other, then the cycle stage is really important. So you might have both cards that are within the range of 1 to 3. So that's really about the beginning of a cycle. If the cards are within the range of 4 to 6, it's the middle of a cycle. And then if they're in the range of 7 to 10, then it's likely that you're at the end of a cycle. So, for example, Ace of Swords, which is a 1, and the Empress, which is a 3, signifies the beginning of a cycle. And specifically, an idea or a thought, the Ace of Swords, is coming into fruition, which is the Empress energy. And the Empress is like pregnant with this new idea or thought, and she's about to birth it into this world. So if the tarot cards are not close in number, then it may indicate more of a movement from one phase to another, either in terms of progress, so if the numbers are increasing, or regression, so there might be a decrease in the number. Now, I tend to read this from left to right in order to see if the number is increasing or decreasing. So for example, if we had 2 of Cups and the 8 of Cups, then that might be the development of a relationship. And despite a promising beginning to a relationship, like the 2 of Cups, both parties may actually decide to go their separate ways, which is the 8 of Cups. So you can also change the order and you get a different story, right? So the 8 of Cups with the 2 of Cups shows perhaps a mature relationship, the 8, turning into a less mature relationship, the 2. So this might be a sign that one relationship is opening up the space for a new one to blossom. Or maybe it's a sign that an existing relationship is actually taking on a new energy. So again, you can practice this technique by pulling random pairs and then looking for those numerological connections. And you're going to get better and better at it by the day. All right, the next technique that I have for you is symbolism. Now, tarot cards are so rich with symbolism because every card has a unique image that is filled with multiple symbols that really allow the reader to tap into the subconscious mind and connect on a deeper level. So some of the symbols might include castles, clouds, angels, or swords. But symbolism may also include certain color patterns, archetypes, and elements within the cards. So the more that you actually pay attention to these symbols, the deeper your practice will become. Now, when it comes to tarot card combinations, you'll want to look out for common symbols across the cards. So when you look at them together, the power and the meaning of these symbols is really amplified. So take, for example, Temperance and Judgment. Now, they both feature archangels. And this may be a sign that your angels are looking after you and they're offering you a sign of hope and faith during a difficult time. And then take a look at the Strength and the Magician cards. Now, both of those feature the infinity signs, and that really symbolizes their ability to tap into infinite potential. Now, here's another really neat thing about common symbols. Look at whether they appear the same or if there's a difference in the symbols between the two cards. So, for example, if you look at the Justice card and the King of Swords, they've both got an upright sword. But take a closer look and you're going to notice that the King's sword is actually just slightly tilted while the Justice's sword is completely upright. And this might indicate that the King is a little bit more flexible in his point of view than you might realize, especially when you're comparing it to that very right and wrong nature of the Justice card. So look for these common symbols in the cards and pay special attention to how they might change and transform between cards. And that actually leads into the final technique that I want to share with you. And it's got to be one of my favorites. And it's all about flow. Now, this is definitely a more advanced technique, but once you start to master it, you're going to find that adds a lot more depth to your readings and more intuitive insight as well. So flow is all about looking for connections and interactions between the cards and observing how one card transforms into the next and the next and the next, right? So one way to do this is to look for something that is common between the two cards. Now, it might be a shared symbol, an object, a person, a background, even an overall theme. And then look at how it changes from one card to the next. So an example of this is the 10 of Cups and the 6 of Cups. And one of the common elements is actually the pair of the children. Now, in the 10, the children are happily dancing next to their parents, but in the 6, they're still happily playing, but now they're on their own. And I might interpret this as, well, kids just growing up or getting an increased level of independence, yet they still have that sense of playfulness. So let's do another example. Take the Empress and the 3 of Swords. Now, both of these cards feature a heart shape. In the Empress, it's a heart-shaped cushion and it adds that feeling of luxury to the card. But then in the 3 of Swords, the heart is now pierced by these 3 swords and it brings an energy of heartbreak and sorrow. Now, combined, this might actually suggest that even when we open up our hearts to receive, that they're vulnerable to being broken. So hopefully this is starting to come together a little bit more for you and starting to make a bit more sense. Now, another way to find flow, which I love, is to look at how the people interact with each other. So if both cards feature people, look at how they're kind of interacting with each other and engaging with each other. Are they facing towards each other or are they looking away? Because what might this tell you about their relationship dynamic? Because if they're looking away from each other, it might be a sign of tension or disengagement in the relationship. For example, when the Queen of Cups is on the left and the Page of Wands is on the right, the page actually appears to be looking away, which might indicate, I don't know, a teenage son who's ignoring his well-meaning mum. And if both are looking towards each other, it might be a sign of a more balanced and more connected relationship. So, for example, when you actually just change the positions of the page and the queen, so the page is now looking towards the queen, it may actually represent a more healthy relationship between a mother and son. So these little subtleties can reveal a lot. So just make sure that you're paying attention to these in your tarot readings. All right, so there you have it. 4 ways to interpret tarot card combinations. We've talked about keywords and phrases, numerology, symbolism, and flow. So when you bring these techniques together into your tarot practice, you'll be reading the cards in a more meaningful, accurate way in no time. And of course, if you'd like to take your practice even deeper, then download my free guide to interpreting tarot card combinations by clicking the link below. All right, thank you so much and bye for now. Hey, if you loved this video, then make sure you check out this next video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next time.